That's right, we are back. And I say this due to the fact that you have to understand that I got a new camera. As you see now, I actually have a little remote. Yeah, ain't that something? You have to understand though, I had said yesterday that I was going to put out a gaming video, and that the old camera, God bless its soul, it's been about 5 years, so it died. So, it's salute to that camera. It lasted so long, it couldn't hold charge anymore, it wouldn't do anything. The clips were freezing while I was doing the recording. It was done. It's over. You know what I mean? But it's fine. You know what I mean? It's all good. So, we got a new camera as fast as possible. That's right. Went out and did that, and here we are to talk about gaming again. Now, look, I want to say this now that I'm not in a very good mood, all right, for a number of reasons. Anybody who saw my Instagram, you know what's going on. I've been away for a while because I was training for a fight, and now that fight's been canceled. Now, for those who don't really care about the Instagram stuff because you think you want more in-depth, detail footage and things of that nature, I can definitely do a YouTube video, a sports video, and show you all the receipts if you want. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all, okay? But as far as I'm concerned, the things that we have seen as of late, I'm not going to touch on a couple things. I'm not going to touch on E3 that much because vultures were just surrounding it for E3 to talk about it as soon as it happened for views. I'm not going to touch on a couple tragedies, especially with one specific YouTuber, due to the fact that everyone's been acting like a bunch of fucking idiots over it. And I've just seen some very nasty things said about it, and it's not cool. It's not. It's really not. As far as I'm concerned, I just want to stick to the gaming point. But we do have to talk about the politics today in gaming. And not just gaming, but YouTube as well. So I guess we should get into this YouTube thing, shouldn't we? Let's just do this. Shall we? Let's get this out of the way, right? So, YouTube, as of late, you have decided to change a couple of things. And I am not very happy with that. Because now anybody can strike you down and anything. So I'm telling y'all now, this video, it may go down. I'm just letting you know that now. And the fact is, since their links are broken, their disputes are broken, you can't even click on them. And I showed y'all this on Twitter, that when someone just files a claim, that's it, it's over. You can't do nothing. Because you cannot dispute it in fair use. Because the link is broke for it, the button is broke for it. Now, I told people this before, and other people were like, maybe that's how it's designed. Maybe they did that purposely. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's been days and I still haven't heard anything from their feedback department at all. You know what I mean? To fix this issue. But that's not what we really need to talk about today. With YouTube. That's just one facet of a problem with YouTube. A lot of you have talked about censorship in YouTube. Now, I see a lot of people saying, well, if you believe in the right or left or whatever, mostly people who are conservative are being banned or being silenced. And while that may be an aspect, a thing, also, again, only one facet. It's not about just politics. It's about the narrative that they're trying to control, okay? That's what YouTube has done before. You know when they say broadcast yourself? Yeah, that shit's out the window. It's not there anymore. Okay? It's gone. It's dead. So, with that said, YouTube, as you know, as of late, has not tried to push any other YouTubers, alright? Or their algorithms, or how they just completely fucked everything. They just did. But, as you know, they're trying to push stars now, because Hollywood is what brings in more views. We've seen this, alright? So it's not about broadcasting yourself anymore. They rolled out YouTube Red for a paid subscription. We all know what happened with that. Now, look, understand very quickly that YouTube does not have your best interest. This is why I've always said, and you can see it time and time again, it's not about the millionth adpocalypse. But I've told you time and time again how this shit is not sustainable. And yet people still fight me on this. Okay, whatever. It's just, if you want to stay in the dark and keep putting your fingers in your ear and la 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 and all that, do that shit. I don't care. I do not care. If you cannot see that YouTube, everyone loves to bring it, but you can make money like who's. Look, just because the 1% is going to be okay. And if you keep thinking in these days and times, especially with the way things have gone, because remember, they drew back a lot of money from ad revenue. Back in the day, Call of Duty players, they were making chunk. They were making crazy money. Now they can't even afford to pay their rent. Again, You can't put your eggs all in one basket and think that this is going to pan out. I'm going to go 100%. I'm going to go hard and whatever. I'm not trying to hear that you're trying to go in the paint and do your thing because, as you know, they will only let you get but so far, especially depending, and we've talked about this before, you have to have the right image. You have to say the right things. You got to know the right people. Yeah. There's a lot of politics involved with this YouTube shit. And it's not just YouTube, too. It's also Twitch. It's also any other streaming service as well. It's sad that you can't just come out and be yourself. Broadcast yourself. No, we got to get a bunch of people who have to act a certain way in order to get attention. Meaning, they're not themselves. But that's not all. As of late, some of you have been coming to me, actually for the last year or so, if not more. You keep saying, Event, you know, you're making these videos, and I'm not getting any notifications. And I'm like, that's YouTube. You know what I mean? Some of you not too long ago when I was making videos, it was a couple months ago, I said I had to take a break because I had to get really back into training and fight. And some of you were like, oh, it's good to have you back. But I was like 3 or 4 videos in. And he was like, this is the first time I'm seeing anything because you didn't get a chance to see the other notifications that I was back. Well, apparently there's a reason for that. Yeah, YouTube has decided that they're not going to send you all notifications. So subscribers don't get all notifications. So I want you to understand this really quickly, okay? Because this is also about YouTube Live, but this has been going on for a very long time within YouTube itself.
So, to summarize, because I get asked this all the time, YouTube, do you notify all of my subscribers every single time I go live?
We don't notify all of your subscribers, right? We notify all of your subscribers who have rung the bell, and then your most active subscribers after that.
Okay, so we try to notify the people who we believe would be most likely to tune in and watch your content.
That's right.
While it's live.
That's right.
While not necessarily overwhelming and spamming all of your subscribers with these notifications.
That's right.
That makes sense to me.
Talking about towing the fucking line. Are you serious? That makes sense to me. No, it doesn't. If people subscribe to you, they should get all of your notifications. That's why they subscribe to you. So now you're telling people, regardless if they're just making a video or even YouTube Live when you decide to stream, they're telling you you're not going to get your most active subscribers or their interest in what their algorithm looks like, you know, when they're looking. So in order for you to see everything that who you're subscribed to, and I'm sure you're subscribed to many people on YouTube, you're going to have to manually go in and do all that shit. That is horrible. You know what it is? That's them not doing their job. And it's arrogant as shit, alright, for them to feel as though they can come out publicly and say that shit. And then say, that's okay, right? That sounds alright. That sounds like a good idea, right? It makes sense. It doesn't make a fucking lick of sense. At all. And the thing is, we've seen this for years and years and years, how YouTubers, whether you like them or not, would complain about this type of thing happening. And people were like, oh, no, you're just being a conspiracy theorist, nah. And here it is. They were fucking right all along. All along. It's just sad that, and this is why people are walking away from YouTube. This is why. Why make a video if it's going to get shot down to hell? Why make a video, and that's talking about from claims or false claims, and then apparently, as you know, YouTube makes sure that you're guilty before innocent. We know that shit, all right? But, all right, that's just one thing. Then you have to turn around and worry about if they're going to demonetize you. Now, of course, that's not my problem, my favor, because I don't monetize any of these videos. So, that's not a problem for me. But those who are trying to make money off of it, that hurts them, right? Then you got those who are being censored simply for the speech that they use. So that's that. I mean, hell, they took down my one video calling a guy a fake Eagles fan. They said that was bullying. When all I'm doing is kicking facts. But it's bullying, but you were yelling. So that's bullying. So now yelling is bullying. Being aggressive is bullying. Okay, even though that was the style the entire time, I have not changed my style at all, and I don't plan on changing my fucking style. If you can't handle it, YouTube, then maybe you need to take a step back and realize what's going on. But these changes that you're making all you're doing is hurting yourself. Every time you implement a new feature, it bugs out. You hurt yourself every time. I just feel as though it's disgusting that I'm seeing this about YouTube right now. It just is. But we got more news to get into. That's right. So, let's talk about this on the gaming front. All right, check this out. Gaming disorder is a disease, says the World Health Organization. Really? So you think that playing games is a disease? So all right, all I gotta say is at this point, where's my check? I should be getting a check. If I have a disease, where's my check in the mail, fam? What y'all doing for that? I want to know. Seriously, you say it's a disease. Look, I put it like this. There are people who have addiction problems. We know this, and we're going to speak on this in a minute, right? They have addiction problems when it comes to anything. It doesn't matter if it's gaming. It could be gambling on a casino. You know what I mean? Or people who have addiction to drugs or alcohol or an addiction to cigarettes or whatever. It's not about the actual product. Some of it is, because some of them, have those tendencies. But when the game industry, okay, make sure that they do things purposely to hook you, to keep you playing, to keep you buying, to keep you spending, there is a problem there. That is malicious, especially when you have minors playing games. But we're going to talk about this because Sony, it's absolutely hypocritical of me that Sony would come out and say some shit like this. Sony, the CEO says they will combat video game addiction. All right, so let's get into this. The CEO says we need to take serious and adoptive countermeasures. We've already implemented the rating system to restrict players by age, right? And have taken measures based on our own standards. Now, number one, let me talk about the censorship that they've been doing as of late with Sony games. We saw what happened with Devil May Cry 5, right? And everyone had an uproar because it was like, yo, it's a little bit of an ass. Oh, we're going to put a lens flare to crack a Trish's ass. Like, are you serious? It's an M-rated game. Why are you trying to censor an already M-rated game? Makes no sense. They overreacted. We've seen tons of games that are being censored by Sony, and people are getting pissed off about it. However, Microsoft, they're not censoring. Nintendo, they're not censoring. PC, of course, you're not going to be able to censor that. The modder's going to get to that shit. All right? There's no way. Sony is going overboard. And it's, think of the children. But you also just talked about the ESRB. Let's talk about the ESRB real quick. Okay? Because the ESRB, as we know in the history, parents fought for this. Remember, there was people steamrolling games and carrying on, destroying games because they're too violent for our children. Even though the ESRB says you should not be playing this, your children should not be playing these games. But you got it legislated, right? It was on the packages. It tells you right there, this is what it's for. This is what it means. And if and your kids should not play it. And parents who vigorously sit here and blame games for their kids' actions, are you going to sit here and tell me when you buy those games, you don't see that on there? If you care about your kids so much, why are you still buying them the M-rated games? Now, before we get any further in that, let me talk about how back in the day, as kids, we still played M-rated games. I can tell you as a kid, I played Mortal Kombat. Didn't hurt me any. I wasn't going on shooting sprees. It doesn't make sense for you to blame video games for this. Remember, before video games, it was rap music. It was, what was it? It was The Matrix. They were trying ultra-violent movies and shit. Also, we're talking about entertainment that, once again, is not suitable for children. And you still let them watch it. There seems to be no responsibility when it comes to the parents. And I think the companies are taking a hit. And here's the problem I have with Sony right now, especially with that fucking statement. Because for years and years and years, gamers have defended these faceless fucking companies. Okay? And they have. You can't tell me they haven't. Defended them. No matter if it's Sony versus Xbox, or someone makes an article and people defend them, or Jack Thompson comes out, or Anita comes out. Hi, Anita. We're going to talk about you in a minute. But All these other moral laurels wants to come out and trash games. And gamers are always on the forefront to defend the companies. But the companies never fucking defend us. After they ain't called us killers, after they say you're making murder simulators, after they ain't called us misogynists and sexists and incels and terrorists and every other fucking name in the book they've called us. And yet not once has the company come out and defended us. Not once. Do you see what's going on here? They're protecting their cash cow, but they're not trying to help us. And no matter how much we give them, they don't give a shit. Sounds like a certain syndrome, doesn't it? Yeah. But, like I said, again, Sony, you want to bring up the ESRB. It's everywhere. We know this. It's on the boxes. They even have them in fucking stores. There is no fucking excuse for that CEO to come out and say, well, yeah, I'm going to admit that there's an addiction problem. How about this then, Sony? Since you feel there's an addiction problem, all right, and you have your ESRB, like I said, it's plastered everywhere, but no one pays attention. So, Sony, since you're making your counter-adoptive measures, so does this mean that you're going to stop making addictive games? Are you going to limit third-party companies who make these games to stop hitting you with microtransactions? Or timed timed loot boxes or stuff like that? Oh, I have to sit on this game for this amount of time in order to get this item because it spawns at a certain point. You gonna stop that? I'm wondering, Sony, what are you going to do? Are you going to take an even more drastic step and say, hey, if you're a minor, then what we'll do is we'll let you play from the hours of X amount of hours till this cap of end of hours and say that there's a curfew? Is that what you're going to do? What measures are you taking other than I'm going to censor a little bit of anime titties? What are you doing? I want to know. Because you will only go but so far because it'll start hurting your money. And at the end of the day, that's all you're worried about. We know that we're just a unit sold. But for the CEO to come out and say some bullshit like this, yeah, that, he can kiss my ass. It's this simple. If you're very worried about the children's, why haven't you had more campaigns about how the ESRB needs to be in effect? Why haven't you lobbied harder? And I'm talking about all these people in the industry, the companies, these billion-dollar fucking companies. How have you lobbied harder to say, look, parents, this is a PSA. This is what your kid can't buy. I haven't seen any of that shit. You're full of shit. Speaking of people being full of shit. Hi, Anita. Let's have this talk, shall we? We should. So, Anita Sarkeesian is trying to get back into gaming, alright? And before I go any further than that, let me say now, y'all have to understand that her screeching about E3 is like Christmas. It is. It comes once a year. She always does this, and she's always wrong. And it's hilarious to watch, and people pick her apart. It is nothing new, okay? Anita really has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. But I want to bring up this one issue that came up. I believe Melanie Mack, she put a string of tweets out about Lara Croft. And wasn't wrong. Melanie Mack knows her shit when it comes to Lara Croft. You know what I mean? She was not wrong. However, Anita Sarkeesian decided afterwards to go after Melanie Mack, and then Melanie Mack responded in the video pretty much dunking on her. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know why Anita Sarkeesian is trying to slither her way back in, but then there's reports that Feminist Frequency is going broke. So I will put that link also in the description field. All these links will be in the description field for you, alright? But understand very quickly that, is that a helicopter? Alright, whatever. Anyways, what was it? Understand very quickly that Anita Sarkeesian has no fucking idea what she's doing. She does not know anything about video games. She just has connections. That's all it is. And every connection that she's been in, because she even went over to CD Projekt and was like, yo, let me help you with Cyberpunk, because of all this that's going on. Well, if you look at her resume, every time she's turned around and tried to help a game company or whatever, the game crashes and burns. Nobody needs your help. Nobody. Now, as far as feminist frequency going broke, it's possible. It's very possible it's going broke. By the numbers, like I said, I will put the link in the description field for you from Reddit, by the numbers. But don't think for a fact, not 1 second, okay, that Anita herself is broke. Because she's not. Let's just get that straight. Feminist frequency can take a nosedive and crash and burn, and Anita will still be fine. That's just how it is. Because if it crashes and burns, you know what's going to happen, right? Damn the patriarchy. And it starts all over again. The wheel just turns and turns and turns, and nobody learns from history. It repeats itself. She's pathetic. So you can go after Melanie Mack about Lara Croft, get dunked on, but when I actually put that video out where you blatantly lied about Rainbow Six and showed you game footage about how there are females in Rainbow Six, playable females in Rainbow Six, you didn't say shit. See, what people don't understand is that Anita can get dunked on anytime. That's too easy. But you do it with grace. So instead of dunking on her, you just do the layup. You know what I mean? There's no one behind you. All right, I'm just going to lay the ball up. I don't need to show off. That's what it is. Anita keeps looking for attention. The best thing you can do is ignore her at this point because she's trying to get back in. And there's no reason for it. Why would you give a shit what she has to say? She's been absolutely wrong and cherry-picked on damn near everything. And again, she does not speak for us minorities. She doesn't. But she wants to make it seem like she does. Speaking of that, let's get into that right now. Cyberpunk 2020 creator Mike Pondsmith, to his detractors, he says, "Stop telling me what to be offended by." We've talked about this before, haven't we? We've talked about this time and time again. You do not speak for us, all right? We speak for ourselves. Do not tell us what to be offended by. One person that's offended by something doesn't mean everyone of a specific race is going to be offended by it too. Which means if you really believe that, you're actually the racist. It's absolutely ridiculous that you keep constantly think that you can speak for us simply, and I say this because, well, they're too stupid to speak for themselves, so let me speak for you. We don't need you to speak for us. We got our own voice. The problem is you don't amplify us. You go on and say, you should listen to people of color. Just shut up and listen to them and hear what they have to say. And then when we do speak up, oh, no. They're not saying the same narrative as us. I can't believe this. This is bullshit. Nope, we're just going to act like they don't exist. Unless they agree with us. That's bullshit. I keep telling y'all time and time again, everybody is going to have their own opinion. Why? Because we're individuals. That's why. And it seems like they can't understand that. They want a sheepish mentality. They want damn near a cult. That's what they want. And you think that these developers, and it's funny because when you see these developers when they come out, these game companies, I guess we have to bend to them simply because they're leading the charge, and this must be how all these people feel because we don't know any people of color or anything like that. So therefore, this must be true. No, maybe if you came outside of your fucking bubble companies, developers, publishers, producers, whoever, and you actually spoke with some of us, you'd understand. But you don't do that. You just listen to outrage culture. And that's it. So, or cancel culture, which is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever seen in my life. But you've got to be kidding me that you're going to sit here and say, well, this middle class, it's always either a middle class or high class white woman trying to speak for people that are down in the shit. And you're going to listen to them. Again, sometimes it's not about what they're saying. It's about image. It's really sad that someone like Mike Pondsmith has to go through this. I mean, hell, his wife made the animals. And They're just like, oh no, you gotta take it. No, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, just like any other fucking developer. If you have a problem with it, don't buy it. 9 times out of 10, if you complain about the shit anyway, you weren't gonna buy it. By the way, Cyberpunk 2020 looks really good. But I want to start now into the thick of things. We're still doing a little bit of political stuff, but we're getting ready to move in. I want to talk about EA and their bullshit. That's right. For those who don't know, EA was like Epic Games. There's a bunch of them, but EA really stands the fuck out on this one. EA, you got called on your loot boxes, all right, at an actual hearing. And they're saying, this is not ethical. What you're doing, loot boxes are technically almost like gambling machines, like casino slot machines. That's what they are. You know what I mean? And you're catering this stuff to minors, which is illegal. All right? And EA, the audacity, look, we knew they were going to try to spin it. We knew they were going to try it. But for what they tried to do, Jesus Christ, it is embarrassing on all fronts. Do not tell me that you're going to try and say, well, we don't consider them loot boxes. We consider them surprise mechanics.
A company like yourselves should have a code of ethics. And we've heard a lot of evidence in this committee from Dr. David Zendel, among others, that loot boxes are closely linked to problem gambling, particularly among adolescents. Can I ask you, both companies, do you consider loot boxes to be an ethical feature of your games? Kerry?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
whatever term you wish to apply to them. Do you consider them ethical?
So, what we look at as surprise mechanics.
Surprise mechanics. Surprise these nuts. Seriously, I put it like this, and I've seen the memes ever since they said that. Well, it's not kidnapping, it's surprise adoption. Well, it's not rape, it's surprise sex. That's what we're seeing. That's what they're saying. This is how dishonest EA is. And I don't understand how anyone at this point, I mean, they've done a lot of fucked up shit in the past, but to say this and still be supported, like, you Mad Knights, stop. All right, you FIFA fans, stop. There's nothing. They say, oh, they're coming out with a new Mass Effect. Stop. Come on. Pay attention. Wake up. What is more important? And it seems like gamers, and again, this is where possibly that gaming addiction comes in. You have to be able to see exactly what they're doing, and you can't ignore it. You can't. It's hard to watch go down. And at first I thought it was hilarious. But then when I saw people, and I saw on Twitter, there were people who were just railroading them completely. But then there's people who was actually defending them. You can't defend this. There's no defense to this. And stop trying so fucking hard, you bunch of groupies. Like, but it gets worse. We know what's going on with Destiny, right? Alright. We know what happened with EA and Anthem. Yeah, since it failed so bad, for those who don't know, again, EA executives will give up their 2019 performance bonuses because it's done so bad. Remember, this is the same executives this not too long ago was like, oh, we have a spoil of riches coming our way. Remember that? They were so arrogant to throw it in your fucking face, and it all backfired. You know, I'm just, at this point, it's really saddening to see this. And for them to be like, oh, to the executives, you know, they're going to give up their bonuses. Oh, so they gotta settle for a smaller yacht this year. Ooh. Y'all have to understand that this is not going away, and the only reason it's not going away is because you, the consumer, keeps them afloat. That's what it is. That is the God's honest truth. Without consumers, they have nothing. They treat you like shit. You keep going back. They're going to tell you in every terms of service that they can update out of nowhere, look, this is what we're going to do to you, and you're going to take it. I'm not going to forget ever, still from EA. When that Mercenaries came out for PS3, and they was like, yo, we cutting the online off. What, 3 months in? We cutting the online off. And people complain, because they couldn't get the online trophies for it. And EA was like, I don't give a shit. This is how they treat you. Remember, they used to stalk other players and see, you know, especially they would make a video online. Medal of Honor, remember, they were showing all the problems in Medal of Honor, legit problems in Medal of Honor. What happened? Banned that dude from the server. His entire PSN name can't get on his 360 tag, can't get on anything. They shut him down. Same thing what happened with Dragon Age, remember? EA has done so much foul shit throughout the last, I'm going to say, 5 years or so, and yet they're still around. No matter how many times they get worst company or whatever in America or whatever that is, it doesn't matter. There is nothing redeemable about this fucking company. And the only reason it's not redeemable is because they don't have that much competition to fight them on certain products. Because they keep buying out the fucking competition. Speaking of buying out, or should I say selling out, let's talk about a one Randy Pitchford, shall we? Yeah, we know that Borderlands 3 is coming. The last video I did, I believe, on this, I was like, why would you support Borderlands 3 given everything that Randy Pitchford has done? And I still see people, oh, I'm hyped for Borderlands 3. I can't wait. I know what he did, but I don't give a fuck. I want my game. That's a true addict right there. You notice we keep going back to it. There's a difference between addiction and what they deem addiction, as in playing long hours, as opposed to people who are just like, I gotta have an itch. I can't get my itch. I gotta have it. You got it on you. I need it. There's a difference. For those who know what I'm talking about. We always thought, and I myself, a lot of us thought, but myself personally, given what's happened with Randy, he's guilty as fuck when it comes to this siphoning $12 million from the company. He's guilty. I don't give a fuck what you say. However, now we've got news that an ex-Gearbox employee provided evidence. That's right, that Randy diverted funds. We got evidence now. So, as far as I'm concerned, this guy needs to go to jail. This is the same guy who's playing, again, another moral laurel, trying to make Gamergate, banjo songs, always talking shit to people, has no idea at times what he's talking about. And it got to a point that even when he got into, not too long ago, a recent conversation, he actually said that he was on the spectrum. So that's the reason. Can you go any fucking lower? And I say this due to the fact that it doesn't matter if you're on the fucking spectrum. You're not going to use that as a fucking excuse. Being on the spectrum didn't make you siphon $12 million, Randy. Being on the spectrum didn't make you try to punch a voice actor, Randy. Like, these are things that happen within yourself. This is you. That's just good old-fashioned greed and arrogance. That's what that is. There are people who are on the spectrum, people who have full-blown autism that don't do these things. And you want to say, well, I'm just a little on the spectrum. So don't shut the fuck up. That is a cop-out. And it's disrespectful for those who actually have to deal with this, being on the spectrum, and have autism every day. That's the type of people y'all dealing with right now. Y'all understand that, right? He's a piece of shit. He's no different than anyone. Same thing with Tim Schafer. Piece of shit. Being opportunists. Oh, well, fuck Nazis. Motherfucker, you're a racist yourself. This is the shit that really bothers me. And it's funny because that's how I see it. It's like watching a low-level racist get mad at a higher-level racist. Like, that's what it feels like. Especially in Tim Schafer's case, of course. You know what I mean? And now we just found out that his company was, bought out by Microsoft? So, yeah. And mind you, isn't he still in the chair of Fig? Isn't he still on the chair, on the board? He gets money. He gets money. He don't give a fuck about y'all. He don't give a fuck about Psychonauts. If you really believe he gives a fuck about Psychonauts, all right. Yeah, you're living in some type of fucking dream world. No one cares. And I say no one cares, and when I say I mean gamers, I'm saying him and the people around him. They don't give a shit. They're going to throw you whatever garbage they want. And like I said, like the other dude said, just consume. And people won't eat that shit up. Whether for nostalgia's sake or not. But in more news. Bernie fucking Sanders. I'm about to call him Colonel Sanders, actually. Bernie Sanders supports a game dev union. And I'll put it like this. The developers do need a union. We have seen time and time again how they've been treated badly. We've seen how companies work them to the bone because they have a deadline, which actually should just be extended. But you're killing these people. People have lost their families over this type of shit. All right, they get sick, and you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Then you got people like Randy who just siphons $12 million from everybody. Like, you have to understand that this is not good. And I put it like this: I think every job should have a union, because if not, they'll control the shit out of you. They will bully the shit out of you. And you need that protection as an employee. I feel game developers should have that. They work hard. And I feel as though the games that we get, they're half-assed, and that's not here's the thing, that's not the developer's fault. They can only push but so much given their deadline. You know what I mean? But it's up to those project managers and and heads to say, hey, we either got to push this back or we have to make the deadline. And we've seen it before. We've talked about this before in videos for years, how publishers will come out and say, yeah, we knew the game was broken, but we put it out anyway because we had a deadline to meet. Oh, we'll just patch it later. Then they started bitching and moaning about patches. Oh, well, it costs $40,000 for a patch. You don't understand the money that it takes. Blah, 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 blah. Take the miss me with that bullshit. You pushed it out there, you knew it was bad, and now you gotta fix it, and all of a sudden it's, now I'm supposed to feel bad for you for fixing a product I fucking bought? If you did it right the first time, you wouldn't have to worry about that shit. Hello, World War Z? Yeah, I'm still pissed off at you. Saber Interactive, you have not even issued a fucking apology yet over that shit. There's even articles talking about that shit. They went real quiet when everyone lost their data. They didn't give a fuck. Oh, but you got a new update coming out. Fuck you on your update. I still haven't gotten my shit back. That's what I'm talking about. You put in all this fucking work and investment into these games only for them to fuck you, and they don't even have enough decency to say, hey, look, we're sorry. Is there any way that we can somewhat try and rectify the situation? Maybe we can give you just a bunch of, you can work your way back up to your level or whatever, but can you give us, we can give you some money, we give the entire community money for saying sorry or something like that when it comes to, in-game currency, you know what I mean? Something that is a promise to your fan base that's been loyal. No, it's fuck you, who cares, you'll get over it. That's how they feel. So fuck Saber Interactive. Speaking of fucking more developers, alright, and fuck them, let's talk about Marvel Avengers, shall we? Let's talk about it. So, Marvel Avengers game developers. Now, y'all saw E3 what it looked like with Square. I mean, they were hyping this shit up. I can't tell you how many emails I got from Square Enix myself. Oh, we're going to have this Marvel event, and it's going to be great, and you need to see it. And we saw what it looked like. And I don't understand this, because when we saw what it looked like absolute shit. It looked horrible, alright? And the faces, that's what everyone was mad about. The faces. They didn't look like characters that they're supposed to look like. They didn't show us so much gameplay. So, everyone was up in a roar about it. And the developers said that they were going to listen to us. This is what they said. Literally, this is what the articles were saying. This is what it said. So they're saying that they're going to listen to the criticism and they're going to make the changes, right? So everyone's like, okay, let's see what they do. They're trying to be really, involved with the community. We can give them a chance. We can see if they're going to make the changes, right? So everyone's kind of calmed down. And then this is what the fucking developer said afterwards. So they say one thing and then it's fuck you afterwards. They don't care. We're going to change the faces. Look, I understand that at this point, we are seeing that the likeness. I mean, let's be honest. They look like a bunch of damn stump doubles. But people want the likeness of the movie characters, before, because of that. But I understand that takes a lot of money when it comes to licensing. You can't do that. What Square could have done, and the developers could have done, at least, was take the likeness from the comics. That's what you could have did. Instead, You made this bunch of bullshit and then said, we're listening. Oh no, you know what? We're not going to do what you want. It makes no sense. Like, I just don't understand why you would do that. I don't understand it at all. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But the fact is, you sat here and said that you were going to listen to fans, and then you turned around and was like, fuck you guys. That's what you did. That is absolutely atrocious. Absolutely. Alright? It's dishonorable. It makes me not want to play the game. And as far as I'm concerned, bring on Ultimate Alliance 3, right? Bring it on. Now here's the thing with that. Ultimate Alliance 3. I'm not very happy with what I've seen with the with the roster. Because the entire roster is pretty much what you've seen in the movies or on the Netflix shows. You're going to tell me that's all you're going to push? That's your roster. Now, with that said, I think the bosses have more of a diverse roster from the comics than the actual, characters that you're playable as. Now, there are talks already about DLC. On their wiki, they're talking about how the Marvel Knights are coming, the Fantastic Four is coming, there's a number of characters coming, but they'll be included in a pass. So, you're going to DLC us to death with Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Is that what you're going to do? I really hope that's not the case. And if that's the case, are we going to have to pay for that, or is it going to be free? Because I understand that Disney still owns that Marvel license. We will find out in the future what happens, but again, I'm looking forward to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but that is it's very disingenuous. You know what I mean? It really is. Now, speaking of disingenuous, let's talk about Hollywood and gaming. Keanu Reeves. Now, as we know, he's in Cyberpunk 2020. We've seen the memes. Everyone loves Keanu. I don't have a problem with him. I love Keanu. I think he's cool. But here's the thing. Keanu Reeves says that video games don't need Hollywood actors to be legit. Yes and no. Okay? I say this because while I do agree, depending on the game, you do not need a Hollywood actor. But also, let's not be fooled here, people. If it wasn't for certain Hollywood actors, certain games wouldn't be that good. I mean, let's be honest. I'm telling you now, Call of Duty, I had no idea that was Gary Oldman playing. You know what I mean? That was one thing I was like, yo, that's cool. Because I did not know that was Gary Oldman. We know not too long ago, John Bernthal, he's going to be playing in the next Call of Duty. And he can't do it. He's like Keanu Reeves. He can do no wrong since he played the Punisher. So, you know, people have already said on Twitter, I'm buying this game just for him. So Hollywood actors do sell. You don't need them, but they do sell. Okay? The legitimacy that, if we were talking about all games overall, no, you do not need Hollywood actors. Alright? You don't. Gaming, as we know, though, as the industry, wants to be Hollywood. The problem with that is that we've seen it time and time again when it comes to gaming and trying to be Hollywood, is that they decide they want to make up the rules as they go along. However, when it comes to criticism, Hollywood takes criticism. We haven't seen it as of late. Yeah, we saw what happened with the Star Wars franchise. But gaming in general, they can't take a lick of fucking criticism without trying to block you or curse you out or whatever the case may be. So we know that gaming has a long way to go before they can get on that level of Hollywood. Yes, we have games that can push that envelope and say, hey, they're going to be great narrative games. But it's crazy that they would think that they can, play by their own rules. They can't. If you're going to follow a specific blueprint or model, guess what? You got to be ready for that backlash as well from consumers. You have to be. Because I put it like this. I remember when Lawnmower Man came out. I don't know if y'all remember this. Lawnmower Man, Stephen King's Lawnmower Man. People were pissed. Because they went to the movie and saw this shit and was like, I want my money back. Now, if I played one of your games and said, I want my money back, y'all be bitching and moaning, oh, that's not right. You played through the game for so long, you beat the game and now you want your money, and it sounds like you're trying to be cheap. That's what it sounds like. No. Because they keep saying you can't, remember, they keep saying you can't judge a game until you play it all the way through. Don't they say that? Don't they say that? Okay. It's absolutely ridiculous. So there's a lot of hypocrisy and flip-flopping when it comes to defending companies, defending games, and this is from the fans as well in the community. We've talked about this already earlier in the video. Anyways, let's move on. Yakuza. Yeah, Yakuza. Yakuza creator, he says, we make games for Japan and Asia first. And people got upset about that. I don't see the problem. I don't. If you are interested in Japanese culture or Korean culture or, South Korea or, I know there's different, areas of it. Chinese culture, whether it's Mandarin or you speak Cantonese or whatever the case may be. If you are interested in those cultures, then yeah, you're going to play the way because they're tailored to those cultures. You're going to step outside your box and you're going to play those games and see what that experience is like. That's what you're going to do. Okay? So if you don't understand something, of course, you can ask somebody. You can always talk. You can do research. You can have these conversations. For people to get upset because you're not thinking of America first, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. Alright? You just are. There's no way the West, when it comes to those type of games, the West should be considered first. Because especially these days where there's so much outrage culture, where if they do something in the game, oh, they want it changed. They want it changed immediately. So I don't have a problem with them saying that. You cater to your audience, your inner bubble first, that's there, and then you branch out. Because not everyone is going to accept what you're doing. So I don't have a problem with that. They know their base, they look at their statistics, they see their numbers, this is what companies do. And they see where their strong numbers are being sold, so they say, that's where we're going to go first, and then we'll spread out to everybody else. I don't see a problem. Final Fantasy. Let's talk about it. Remake. Final Fantasy 7 Remake confirms honeybee cross-dressing and Tifa breast size ethics. So, ethics. You have an ethics board to talk about Tifa's breast size, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. Well, we're going to give her a sports bra, and then she'll be fine. Personally, I'm letting y'all know now. Personally, I don't care. I got the original Final Fantasy. I don't care. I can play anytime I want to. You know what I mean? I bought it. I got it. Still here. PlayStation 1. Play anytime I want. Alright? But here's the thing. When you sit here and have an ethics board for Tifa boobs, or Tifa titties, whatever you want to call it, I just imagine back in the day when they had this boardroom and all these people were sitting around and they had this they had the character designs and they're making these decisions on whether it's okay or not. And I'm sure they went down to the last detail because for anyone who's been in any type of character design work when it comes to animation, they overlook that shit hard. Okay? So they looked at this and said, this is okay. It's alright. So for you to create something like that, then now you say, well, we gotta make it more realistic and and people are getting upset about it. It's funny to see people get upset over Tifa boobs. It just really is. For me it is. I think it's funny. Alright? Because I'm not going to preach or get on there. People have literally gotten so mad on it. They have full-blown arguments. I will leave Twitter and come back and see on my timeline for hours. These motherfuckers are still going at it. Like, you've got to be kidding me. It's not that serious. It's just not. I understand that people are saying, well, people are trying to justify it, and it's still the same as before. It's not the same as before, but I don't care either. You know what I mean? Like, Advent Children, you saw what you were working with. You kind of figured that's what you were going to get. Not that big of a deal. We also just saw with the Cydia just put out Tifa DLC. She don't have no sports bra. It's just out there. They're out there. You know what I mean? Jiggle and all. They're out there. And it's just like, okay. So, ethics department for me, for Square, don't care. It's absolutely ridiculous they would spend money on something like this. An ethics department. It's failure. It is. Especially when Square makes games that, let's be honest, have some other bad stuff in it. Okay? So Square, yeah, I don't want to hear it. Final Fantasy 7 Remake looks good. I do have my my concerns about it being the split. I kind of feared they were going to have to split it up anyway. But they're talking about already now. It's going to be, it'll be on the PS5 and all this. It's like, fuck. Like, so we're going to have to, and they're going to, put it all back on the PS5 like they did with the PS4. Oh, here's a remake from PS3 on PS4 now. You know they're going to do it. You know it. I understand that they're already talking about compatibility between PS4 games and PS5 games, but you know they're going to come out with a remastered version or whatever. You know this. The only thing I'm interested in right now when I'm watching the Final Fantasy VII, which looks amazing, the characters look amazing, I want to see what the Guardian Forces look like. That is my biggest thing right now. I want to see what the Guardian Forces look like. I want to see how they move. I want to see how they're going to pull that off. I want to see Knights of the Round. Anyways, I want to move on. I want to talk about Bloodstained. That's right. Ritual of the Night, as you know, was released not too long ago. Great Metroidvania, as they want to call it. Castlevania type game. This is the second game now. I feel as though this game has a lot of potential. And for those that don't know, because of everything, they're coming out, I believe, with 12 pieces of free DLC for this game. So, for this game, personally, I would say it's worth it. I would say get a chance if you like Castlevania or Metroid, something like that. Get the game. It's worth it. All right? It definitely is. I feel as though it needs a lot of support. I mean, this is something that old school gamers, been waiting for a while. I have no problem with this. I love this. You know what I mean? Also, I got a little bit of bad news for you. That's right. Shenmue 3. Damn Shenmue 3. Shenmue 3 will only complete 40% of Ryo's story. Only 40%! So we waited all these years to only get to 40%. We've been spending time lifting crates, running forklifts, trying to find sailors, fighting gangs, chasing kids who steal our backpack. We've done everything under the moon, and we're still only 40% in. God damn it. Oh my God. Why put us through this torture? Why? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, the big upset about this so far that we have seen is that about the PC version, how it's going to be the Epic Game Store, and there's a big controversy over that, and people don't want it on there. So we'll see what happens in the future with that. I'll be keeping tabs on Shenmue 3. I will be getting Shenmue 3, but you've got to be fucking kidding me, man. Come on, 40%? Oh my God. All right. All right. I want to move on. I want to talk about the hypocrisy, if y'all didn't see not too long ago, of IGN. That's right. Because we're talking about Epic Games, since we already talked about the store. Epic Games CEO claims that exclusives are the only strategy to bring a better deal to developers. This was actually on their Twitter. However, when you click on the article, completely different headline. Check this out. Whether you agree or not, you have to also understand with those headlines, wording and agendas mean completely different things. It brings a little bit more clarity on what's going on. Oh, we're doing this for the developers. Nah, what you're really doing is you're trying to fuck Steam over. That's what you're doing. It's competition, but that's what you're really doing. You're not worried about the fucking developers. You don't give a shit. Let's be honest here. Alright? But there goes to show you how IGN just tried to flip that shit. Did you notice that? Alright, just want you to you have to understand, there are a lot of people who are going to lie to you in this world, or try and deceive you in this world. And I will say this now, alright, because we're coming to the end of this video. There are a lot of people out there who say, whether it's in person or online, it could be, your friend, it could be a coworker, it could be your girlfriend, your significant other, your family, it could be anyone. Whether it's, whether it's in reality, or people online who say they got your back, or have long distance relationships or whatever, and you find out they're fucking full of shit. This happens a lot. You have to be careful on who you trust and who actually has your best. How can I put this? Your best. How can I? Oh man, you have to say I'm drawing a blank due to the fact that everything is going on. Who has your best interest? And not everyone has your best interest. Just to make that sure, I want to make you understand this. Trust is very hard to come by. And you have to be very careful on who you trust. Whether it's a game company, all the way down to, people that you know personally. And at some point, you're going to have to make cutoffs. You're going to have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not everyone is in your corner, as they say they are. We've seen a lot of people as of late come out about mental health and mental illness. And after everything that happened, hey, it went away after like a day, maybe 2 days. People don't really care. The same people who are saying, oh, this is bad and this is bad, are the same people who tell you to go kill yourself. Or the same people who try to, say that, oh, you mad or you should shut down your account or whatever. These people do not have your best interest at all. Sometimes it's easier to walk the path alone than it is with others. But when people say they have your back, let them prove it. Let them prove it. Because at the end of it all, you really see if they really do have your back. It's not about words as much as it is about actions. And that's where judgment comes in from. Oh, by the way, Judgment just came out not too long ago. Bye, Judgment. But yeah, that's where judgment comes in. You really see who's for you. And that's when you have to start making sacrifices. And I know, don't get me wrong, it may be painful. Alright? But it doesn't mean it has to be the end all be all. You keep moving. You keep moving forward. Like I said, no matter what it is, doesn't matter in what situation, keep moving forward. Because your plan is based for you. You have set out something to do great. If they can't understand that, that's on them. Just like when I do these videos, a lot of people, they may not understand what I'm saying. I can't help them but so much. I can talk to them about it, but doesn't mean I'm going to convince them of everything I'm saying. I don't expect everybody to agree with what I'm saying, because I feel like this. There's a lot of people in this world who do bad things or who say bad things and then do not apologize for it. They feel vilified in what they do. Some of them are even so ignorant to even think that they're right the entire time. Not all of us are always right. So it goes to show you, at the end of the day, it's always good to call out people's bullshit. But also understand that there are people out there who will use you. They will use you and use you and use you till the well goes dry. And then they'll discard you. And a lot of these companies are doing that. I see a lot of these people on Twitter doing it. I see a lot of people in the real world doing it. Take care of yourself. It's always fun to go and play games. Have your fun. But understand what you're getting yourself into. Understand who you're aligned with. Understand, is this person, have they really gained my trust? Understand everything around you. Because eventually, those people are going to get enough receipts on you, and that's going to be your downfall. Anyways, I'll be back with another video soon. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. This has been a good one. I know the microphone's a little bad. What I'll do is I'll get an extended mic for this, because it does support it. So I'll get an extended mic with the, thing on it. It's not a big deal. It's pretty cheap anyway. I just have to wait for it to come in the mail. So I'll probably order that after this. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a good one. Until then, the truth is spoken as usual. We'll see if this is taken down. I'm out.